Hunt 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Wildlife Research Center, the gold standard. RECONYX, see what you've been missing. Get armed and deadly with Easton's FMJ arrows. By Hunter Safety Systems, saving lives is what we do. Sever broadheads, straight through it. By Primal Tree Stands, stand safely, hunt smart. By Chestnut Hill Outdoors. And by Shop Outright Hunting Products, home of the Morph Pro Bowhanger.
I don't mean to jump up on a soapbox here, but I'm gonna. Okay. Since I've been a kid, as I've grown up, heck, I'm 53 years old. This world has changed a lot. I mean, in many, many ways, in good ways. Unfortunately, somehow we've seemed to, in the process, a lot of people seem to have lost all sense of common decency and manners in the process, though. And yeah, that is unfortunate for the generations that are following us and all. But frankly, it also really sucks for us. Because you know what's happening here, people? We are finding reasons to be upset with just about every dang hunter out there other than ourselves. You know, that guy uses a crossbow. I'm a longbow hunter, so that doesn't count. That should be illegal. You know, that guy uses a compound. Well, as I said, I use traditional gear. I'm cool. So there, oh geez, we shouldn't even look at it. They don't even count. And don't get me started on firearms hunting. For years and years and years, I was the problem. You know, I was a bow hunter. You know, firearms, that doesn't even count. You know. And then I started firearms hunting again, honestly, for professional reasons. So I had more stuff to cover. And it took me about 2 hours to figure out what a flippin' idiot I'd been being. Because you know what? Firearms hunting's a lot of fun. But, you know, that's completely different than muzzleloader hunting. Muzzleloader hunting, I mean, that's a primitive weapon there. You know, I mean, that's so much more ethical than going out there with a 30-06 where you can pluck off a deer at 250 yards. Guess what? Today's modern muzzleloader, yeah, group of 3 like this at 300 stinking yards. I can't do it, but I've seen other people do it. You know, my point is our hunting numbers are not increasing. They're decreasing. And our rural lifestyle is very, very swiftly vanishing from this earth, in that the percentage of rural Americans keeps going like this, while the percentage of urban people keep going like there's nothing wrong with being rural, there's nothing wrong with being urban, but you can't expect somebody who's grown up in an asphalt jungle to understand hunting. Okay, they're not going to. So when the animal rights activists go ahead and show 28 of us yard apes all unloading our high-powered rifles on a spotted fawn, you know what? Those people in that town, they think that's normal. Okay, we are doing the anti's job for them by sitting there and bashing all these other people within the hunting community. Why? Because they don't do it like we do. You know, who cares? You know what? I get to manage utopias. As I speak, I'm managing a 5,000 acre property. I'm managing another 2,500 acre property. I get to hunt those settings, and I'll tell you what, it is a flippin' blast. But that is absolutely nothing like the public ground hunting I do. The public ground hunting I do every year is a blast in its own way, but it is 100% completely different than hunting that 5,000 acres that has a grand total of about 20 people hunted each year. Okay. Pristinely managed, trophy bucks behind not every tree, but a heck of a lot more trees than on that public ground I hunt. You know, me sitting there and telling those public ground hunters that you can't shoot that 1.5-year-old buck, you gotta let it go so it can grow. That would be the most ridiculous freaking thing I could ever possibly say. Okay, because you know what? I have advantages that guy doesn't have. Sure, I'm out there hunting that public ground, but I'm also spending 50% of my season hunting utopia. What about that guy who only has a 40? You know what? Trying to hold him to those standards, that ain't right. And now that guy with that 40, you know what? He's got 1 week of vacation. We all have different levels of opportunity, which in my opinion makes it so we can't judge all these other people in a ethical manner because we're not walking in their shoes. But yet every single time we slam somebody for the weapon they use, every single time we slam somebody for the legal deer that they harvested, we're doing the anti's job for them, because you know what? They don't have to shut down hunting. They just have to keep reducing it to the point where there's so many more people growing up in that asphalt jungle that buy the baloney that they shovel when they show, just like they did with trapping for me years and years ago, when they show these completely misleading advertisements and pretend that that is what this sport is all about. Don't help them do their jobs, please. I want to keep hunting. I want my kids to be able to keep hunting. I want my grandchildren to keep hunting. And the only way we do that is we come together as a group and we tell these naysayers, get the heck out of our face because we don't care what you think. This is what hunting is all about. And it's about family and community and feeding loved ones, feeding the homeless, the needy. I mean, I donate 20-some deer every single year to programs like that. That is what hunting's about. It's not about trying to kill the biggest racked monster you possibly can find. If you do that, bonus points, because that's all it is.
Hunt 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Wildlife Research Center, the gold standard. RECONYX, see what you've been missing. Get armed and deadly with Easton's FMJ arrows. By Hunter Safety Systems, saving lives is what we do. Sever broadheads, straight through it. By Primal Tree Stands, stand safely, hunt smart. By Chestnut Hill Outdoors. And by Shop Outright Hunting Products, home of the Morph Pro Bowhanger.
We need to start coming together more. I know society is spiraling to this nasty, toxic spew that you watch on TV every day. From both sides, frankly. But we can't do this for hunting. We're doing the anti's work for them. We need to instead come together and support each other. There's strength in numbers, and the more we do their work for them by humiliating others to the point where they give up the sport, we're doing their job for them. I don't want to do that. I hope you don't either.